Saw that.
We are live. There we go. What's up, everyone? It's your boy Danny Vega, aka Danny V, and I'm with my crew right here. We're about to get down and talk about WandaVision, all of our theories, everything that we have on our mind about this whole wrap up as a whole. And I'm excited. So, one by one, you guys can go ahead and introduce yourselves, and anything you want to plug in, do it now.
Hey, this is Dave from Women in Horror. Stop over by our YouTube channel, check out some of the shows and stuff that we have there. Nice talking to you guys.
I'm Dirk. I am one of the co-hosts for Read Between the Lines podcast, available everywhere there's a podcast, and also Bombs Over Dirkistan as well.
What's happening, everyone? My name is Marcus. Just keep one of the producers on Terrifier 2. Just keep your eye out on that, and our movie stream as well later this year.
Bueller. Anyone else? Ian, you want to go ahead?
Bueller. Hey, what's going on? Ian Frierson. I'm from Orlando, Orlando cosplayer, Marvel fanatic. So I'm definitely ready to get it. So let's talk about it.
All right, my name is Owen, son of David. More of a DC guy, but that's right. More of a DC guy, but I'm always down to talk Marvel.
Okay.
All right, guys. So I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I have so many emotions about. I really do. I have so many emotions about WandaVision, man. I really do. And yeah, I don't know. Let's just start from the beginning. What did you guys think about the beginning? Like, at first, I had no idea what the fuck was happening. And even though it took me back to nostalgia and my childhood and whatnot, it was a big what is happening until episode 3. And I'm like, I felt it was a little too long. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I really liked the way it was put from like episode 1. A lot of people are like, "Oh, it's so slow. It's so slow." Like, I get it, but then I think everyone was just spoiled with the fact that the MCU gave us 20 like movies over the last decade and just like shoved it down our throats like evenly. It was like grah, grah, grah. I was like, here, another one.
There
and
go.
Everyone wasn't ready for that. It was a good slowdown for like those like true fans and everything like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a nice break from having the movies, a different type of genre within the MCU. You get to see that.
Like, for me, I think it was just a perfect build up. Like, you started getting a real good peek into who Wanda and Vision was, and like you said, you're like, what the hell is going on? But at the same time, you grew up watching the reruns of those TV shows, and so it kept you wanting to know what was going to happen next. Like, where were they going to go with the show? Was it going to be comedy throughout or what? So
yeah, I think touching back what you said, just from the start of it, when you're watching that, I mean, you're gonna have to burn through the first 2 episodes because you almost want to nod off a little bit, just be like, okay, I've seen that before, Dick Van Dyke, whatever. But what I love about Kevin Feige did this. He took Wanda and he just focused on Wanda. Usually when it's the MCU, they focus everybody, Thor, Captain America, Spider-Man, all in one movie, and they just straight up focused on Wanda. And that's what I love about it.
I have to say, maybe the way I saw it, like, it was pretty cool how they you never know, like, they started off a little different, like the whole the old comedy part, and then like you never really knew it was going to be the type of show it was until you got later on in the show. I feel like the comedy made it seem like it was definitely going to be a show wasn't going to be that type of show. Like, the comedy definitely kind of threw you off, but then as you got later, like each episode later into, each episode was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, guys. If this would have happened before Infinity War, right? How much more meaningful was Vision's death now? That character got raised and elevated so much in the series.
So I don't want to jump the gun. I don't want to jump that gun because I think my thoughts on that are going to be towards more of the ending of the series. But fuck it, I'm gonna jump the gun. So, I feel they did a disservice to Vision on that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Because the fact that you're following West Coast Avengers pretty to the T with your own MCU, feel on that, right? So you're going with, Vision was kidnapped, you got him taken apart, you got him rebuilt into Spectral Vision, but now you go away from a key important thing to Wanda's story. The key important thing was Vision doesn't remember shit. He doesn't know who Wanda is, he doesn't know who the kids are, and they split because of that, and it adds to Wanda's madness leading into the House of M later. But what you did this time was you gave Spectral Vision everything back. Now he's no longer Spectral Vision, he's Vision now. He has every single memory that's ever happened. So him dying in WandaVision really didn't make me too sad. I thought it was a good touching moment, but then as soon as it's over, you're like, wait, she's going to meet with Spectral Vision, who's going to be Vision. There's no big, oh my God, he doesn't know who I am. It would have been really fucked and amazing at the same time if later on she sees Vision, oh my God, is like you said, I'm going to meet you and see you again. And he's like, bitch, I don't know who you is. You know what I mean? Like,
he pulls like a reverse Wanda. I don't even know who you are.
Vision, who this?
Right?
Nah, me and Wanda don't talk no more.
Right? There's like the weird like AOL like sided like
Yeah, who this bitch?
Right?
No, but
you Olsen?
Yeah, for real. But no, seriously, I feel like they took that away. They took that impact away by doing that. I feel like it can play, especially in the Multiverse of Madness, if she's going down that road, like through the dark arts, I feel like that would add to the madness, not you know what I mean? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I like it. I like the way it sounds because I like just the fact that when Vision was like leaving, when like she was ending her memory and everything, or the whole scene, and I was like, well, Vision's not gone. He's just like you see him fly up and go away, but he's not dead. So she doesn't know it, and I think it's gonna be solid how they can lead into it all together. Just like because what Doctor Strange is supposed to be, this one up was kind of like a horror.
Yeah.
So that's a new element that Marvel, the MCU especially, hasn't gotten into, and based on what they've given us the last decade, I know it's going to be probably the sickest thing that we can ever like put our minds on, because it's not going to be it's not going to be like traditional horror. Everything horror is like a jump scare and the way they play the tones and the everything. But Marvel's so good with what they can do with a horror, based on what I saw with Far From Home. That gave me a look and a glimpse into like, this is what we're gonna do to you.
Right.
Yeah, let's not forget who's directing it too.
Yeah.
So we got Sam
Raimi
directing it.
Yeah. So we're back.
I'm very excited for that because I was a big Spider-Man I was very big on the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films. That was probably my favorite one. So I really think Sam Raimi could do. You don't like that? I see you shaking your head there, Marcus.
So I hate to. I know we're talking about Wanda, but how I feel about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, man, I'll put it like this. Part 2. I'll put it like this. If it wasn't for Alfred Molina playing Doc Ock, Part 2 was like really a bad movie. if you watch it. You know what I mean?
No, man, I love
That's just my
part two.
opinion. That's just my opinion, man.
Part
Plus,
two
I
is
don't
my
like.
favorite.
Plus, I don't like Toby as Spider-Man. I never liked Toby.
Oh, that's got to be
Part two
another
is like the best
discussion.
fight
Yeah.
scene, man.
Well, hey, we'll talk about that another time. Man.
That's got to be another day.
Hey, but my thing
Bring
with
us back,
Sam
Dan
Raimi,
B.
my thing with Sam Raimi doing Doctor Strange 2 and bringing in Wanda and the horror, I'm just hoping that he balances the comedy and the horror elements as well as he did in the past.
That would be
Evil
crazy.
Dead, and I don't want it to be too comedy heavy, especially with where they were taking Wanda and how she's really supposed to have a big role in Doctor Strange 2 and not just a side character like that. So that's what I'm hoping there's going to be a nice balance. And then with them bringing back Chiwetel Ejiofor, I guess I pronounced that right, as Mordo, that's going to be a good dynamic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of him taking out all the sorcerers and quote
Right.
unquote possibly witches. So yeah, I just hope there's a good balance there between the horror and the comedy elements.
Well, see, like Dirk said, and like Marcus was bringing up about horror, like a horror Marvel movie. I mean, I don't know if we're all forgetting about the New Mutants. And my question is, you guys think that we're going to see a cross between the New Mutants into the MCU?
Nah.
No.
Because they could have done that with the Defenders. Yeah.
That was a one-off. They had plans for it, but that was just a one-off.
Yeah.
It's so horrible too. Honestly, listen, I didn't see the movie. I want to, but
I saw it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, all the reception that I've heard was just is like this long with so many reshoots, all this jazz is just like it wasn't worth it. You know what I mean? It's like it wasn't a good payoff.
In my opinion, I don't know, like I own the movie. I actually thought it was a pretty good horror movie, like a horror Marvel movie. I feel like, for them, like doing a Marvel movie that brought in horror, I thought they did a pretty good job on it. I mean, that's just my opinion. I feel like I thought it was pretty good. I don't know.
Dave, did you see it?
I did. I saw it in the theaters. Definitely worth a watch.
Yeah.
See, there we go.
It got a lot of flack.
It's a decent movie, but you could tell that it was hurt from all the drama that went behind the scenes with it. And then knowing that the director originally wanted for it to be horror heavy and not PG-13 and have a little bit more of a dark feel to it, it did. You could tell what happened. But I won't say that it was
before
a
Captain
bad
America: First Avenger. I'll tell you that.
I agree.
Well, hey, everybody knows The Winter Soldier is up there as the best Cap movie to me personally.
Oh yeah,
even more so than Civil War. So
see, mine was probably Civil War. I did really enjoy Civil War.
It wasn't a Cap movie to me though. It was like Avengers 2.5.
It was, it was Avengers 2. I think with the New Mutants, it was the reason why it didn't do so well is because the familiarity of the characters. So a lot of people are not too familiar with those characters. So when you're not familiar with something, you say, it can go either way. But like, no matter, let's say if Spider-Man popped into the Mutants, everybody go watch it because they know Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So overall, it was an okay movie. You know what I mean? Like they could have had something going with that, with New Mutants. But yeah,
especially with that trailer they released back in 2017.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, this movie is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
But
I
then
think it was a product of timing. Also, it was also a product of timing because I remember that trailer came out in 2017, and I was like, okay, when is it? And I just lost my, I guess, movie boner for it. Can I say movie boner?
Yeah, all about This is still a comedy show, man.
Yeah, like I was like slicing. I'm finding the words in my head. Like, all right, can we say it? Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Richard Boner or Ross Boner.
Oh my God,
that was a good point.
The fact that, oh my God, that Ralph Boner thing. So we're hopping back on to WandaVision, dude. Evan Peters
Oh,
Wow, man. Fucking
I love Evan Peters.
having Ralph Boner. And I get
Speaking of boners.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of boners.
Great segue. Great segue.
So anyone else hard? All right. So and this is hard for me to say. You see that
Now, the
joke?
funny thing about that,
You see how terrible that joke was? That's how terrible that moment was, man, for me.
but the funny thing about it, the director just recently came out and said that whole thing had something to do with was it growing pains?
Growing pains, yeah. Yeah.
I heard that, yeah.
Yeah, so Growing Pains, it was an homage to, you know, Boner in the series, but no one thought of that. Listen, you know how old you have to be to remember Growing Pains?
Yep.
Right? Like I'm 31.
I'm 40, so that's my.
You know, so I know Growing Pains, but who?
I know reruns.
WandaVision. Who is watching WandaVision? Right? They're not only our age. There are new people like. That's a dick joke? Really?
Right.
And that's the first thing that pops into everyone's mind because let's be honest, we're all dirty. So
We are.
Yeah.
A good dick joke goes a long way. It goes long, it goes hard. You know? Yeah, right? You know.
Just inch by inch, it just gets sprung out.
Yeah. He came up short there.
Look, it wasn't meant to last that long.
Hey, listen, it's cold, right?
Yeah.
Cold.
7 minutes
It
and
wasn't
30
that
seconds.
soft of a joke.
Nah, but hey, if it would have went 4 episodes, 4 hours, you know you got to call it back.
WandaVision.
Yeah, for real. Well, we selected the wrong type of WandaVision.
Right.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny. It does seem like the show prematurely ended. So
It was scheduled for 12 episodes, only lasted 9.
That's awesome.
And how awesome was it that Spectral Vision is all white and, you know, it just He was the one that hit the mark. He was the one that hit the mark.
He learned, he got everything he wanted and left.
But the fact that it was an homage to Boner, but then you're like, oh, it's not. You're saying it's not a dick joke, but then you have Evan Peters go, Boner.
Boner.
Come on, man.
In typical Evan Peters fashion, like that's how I imagine, like Boner.
Now, let me ask you guys this: how do you think it was a missed opportunity to have? It would have been cool to have Evan Peters and Taylor Johnson together because of the fact that they, one, both were PHO, and then two, they were both in Kick-Ass together.
There was an opportunity they could have done that.
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity in my opinion.
Because the whole time, I don't know if you guys felt this way. This might be like a other question too, but at what point did you like see that they were going to tie in like mutants and then be like, why didn't they do it? Like every time it was like, oh, this is it. Like once you saw PHO show up as Evan Peters, like this is it. You're like tapping every. You're like, yo, this is it. And then, like, nope.
Well, let me ask you something. Did any of you guys think that that engineer was going to be Reed Richards?
There was a couple of things, but let's jump back.
Yep.
Let's stick to the Evan Peters thing real quick. So I want to hear everyone's, like Derek said, I want to hear everyone's like, what was your big moment that you really thought mutants was coming in? Was it Evan Peters or was it a different scene that actually were like, man, mutants, that's it?
So for me, I definitely thought it was Evan Peters when he popped up. And then two, I also thought when dang, it's on the tip of my tongue, Harkness went back with Wanda's memory as a kid. I thought that, you know, that was like confirmation right there. Like, you know, definitely they're bringing in the mutants. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I thought also like, okay, are these their adopted parents? And then
Mhm.
PHO would have been, Peters would have been like, hey, let's go finally find our real dad. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because of the fact that the way X-Men Apocalypse ended, he found out that Magneto was his dad, but
Right.
nothing came out of it with the next film, you know, in Dark Phoenix.
Mhm.
So I thought that would have been a good segue to bring the two of them into,
Mhm.
you know, X-Men. So
Truth. I felt that way too. Like once I saw Evan Peters pop up, I was like, this is it. And then there was another part too where they were when the bomb first hit, in the flashback, the bomb hit and she like reached for it. And that's why it didn't like go off. I was like, she's always been a mutant. This is their big tie-in. And then
Mhm.
the, Mind Stone just elevated her mutant powers, and they just were like inching closer and closer to like, here's mutant, and like, nope, taking it away, just reeling it back and just making you keep guessing for it. So yeah, it felt like that old that Geico commercial, which is like, oh, almost had it, gotta be a little
almost
faster.
had it.
Okay.
You got to be quicker than that.
Yeah. This is exactly how I felt.
I definitely feel the same way as Derek and Marcus felt. I feel like as soon as they brought in Evan Peters as Quicksilver, I'm like, God, this is it. I'm like, we're finally gonna get a tie-in with the X-Men. It's all gonna make a little more sense now. Like as soon as I found that, I'm like, all right, I gotta go on Google, gotta do some research. I gotta find out. I mean,
Yeah,
that's my thought. Yep.
that's how I was. I was the same. As soon as her crown started forming, that was it for me. I saw the crown. I was like, oh snap, it's about to go down.
Yep.
And everybody was like, oh snap, I think Wolverine's gonna pop out. Or, you know what I mean? Apparently he
Don't
did
even
it,
get me
you know?
started on that. Don't even get me started on that.
Speaking of the crown, I brought up the Owen. Speaking of the crown, if you really go back and look at her costume design,
Yeah.
look how the design, the color scheme, the design of it matches Magneto's costume.
Yeah,
So
in
sick.
Apocalypse.
Yes, I saw
Yeah.
that. I
Everything
they were
noticed that.
doing.
Yes.
Everything
And
they
then
were
not only that, her crown, if you look in the dead center of it, looks like Magneto's helmet.
Oh,
Yeah.
If you
nice.
really
It was
look
like
at it.
those. It was like those hidden
Yeah.
Easter eggs you found inside
Right.
little parts of those episodes, like little Easter
Right.
eggs you found that was connected to the X-Men universe.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll have to tell you guys. So in this house, like you guys, everybody in the house here was cheering when Evan Peters showed up. People were jumping up and down. It's like, all right,
Right.
this is great. Just not just because of the mutants, just because how good he was as Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually like him better as Quicksilver than the other guy.
Taylor Johnson. Yeah.
But they made up for it in episode 8. I think episode 8 really made up for a lot of things that I was expecting. So seeing them reveal that she had this all along, that kind of made up for it.
Yeah. My big thing was because I got that leaked, and I did a review on that. So I got the leak of when Evan Peters was showing up, and obviously everyone was just like, when that leak came out, like, who is he really? Because he was dressed as Quicksilver in the comics, but we're like, is he really this? Is he really that? But my confirmation of Wanda being a mutant, because I really feel the show was just an anime filler, because there was no really hard connections into the other movies and whatnot. But I believe it was just to retcon Wanda's backstory. That's why they did this, and which I think is fantastic. And when they went back as her as a child, and she's like, "Yep, you used the probability hack." She's like, "No, I didn't do anything," and she's like, "Yes, you did." And then you just keep going and going, and then you saw how the Mind Stone, like you said, Derek, how it just amplified her mutant powers.
Right.
That right there to me was worth it. Like that episode, I feel like 7, 8 was a good story. Like I agree with David that it pieces things together, but I would love to have been told a different way when you had such a big impact and incline on episode 7. Episode 7 had so many things. You had Monica's powers. You had all these things coming. You're like, oh shoot. And I felt like it tipped a little bit in 8 for story. And then it didn't progress after that. I felt like it just stayed there. For me personally. But yeah, man, that's when I knew. I was like, cool. And then they were telling her how strong she actually is, and I'm like, thank you,
Yes.
thank you, thank you.
Yes. That was a service to everyone, just because everyone knows like how strong she is comic wise and everything like that. And to just push it and confirm it is like, yeah, we knew this. Because remember, they were always trying to confirm. They were always trying to push that Captain Marvel was the strongest. And it's like, bro, Rogue sucked all her energy. So give us what we really know and want.
Well, see, that makes you go back and watch Endgame because of the fact that as comic fans, as you know, and you know, I am a DC fan more, but I am familiar with Marvel. But you know that you got Wanda and you got Jean Grey. You got
Right.
They're like two of the strongest mutants in the whole damn history of X-Men. You know what I mean?
Right.
And look at what she did. She could have single-handedly taken out Thanos.
If it wasn't for him, just the fire rained down on us. She was ripping him apart, the armor, everything. Just like Thanos didn't stand a chance. But I wanted to say that WandaVision, the whole series, is wonderfully put together. And like we said in the beginning, it was good for that pace because they're really good. You look back at how their shows, how every episode ended, the pacing of every episode to leave you on such a cliffhanger and to know that next week you're going to tune in regardless of what the hell you're doing. Like, whether you're working or you're going to stay off everything that you want to and watch the show because they ended it so cleverly well. And it makes me cry just thinking about how good Marvel did that shit.
Yeah.
Now, what do you guys think are going to happen to the twins, though? Like, you know, now that the Hex, what did it call it? Yeah, the Hex erased everything and, you know, killed everything. What do you think? Are they going to bring the twins back? Like,
she's going to bring them back somehow.
Because
like
you heard their voices, remember, in the cabin. So
yeah, David, I want to hear you chime in. You're a good listener, but I want to hear you chime in, man.
Well, yeah, I think that, like what Marcus is saying, you heard the twins in the end there. So I think she's going to go on a mission looking for those. But, you know, we can praise this series all at once, but there's a lot of things that are missing that kind of upset me a little bit, right? So, like, Spider-Man's supposed to be part 2 to this. I don't see no connection to Spider-Man. All right?
Neither do I, actually.
Ian got some theories, boy. That's what it is.
So one thing that Kevin Feige does, I said the same thing. Like I swear to God, I said that. I was like, how is this going to tie in? But if you notice, she had a hex on every person in Westview, right? And you notice she can change everybody's mind. What happened in Spider-Man Far From Home at the end? In Far From Home, everybody knows Spider-Man's Peter Parker.
Yep.
She might be the only one to reverse everybody's mind frame that Peter Parker's Spider-Man. So it's like it could be there. It could be the fact that Peter Parker's leaving New York to go see Wanda. You just don't. That Kevin Feige is just like that, and it's like I said the same thing. And then I was like, wait a minute, hold on. And when I saw that one scene where everybody was going up to Wanda and was like, you know, please help me. And she just said, no. And she changed everybody's mind.
Right.
I'm like, who did that to Peter Parker? Up there, you know what I'm saying? So
that'd be some Spider-Man 3 stuff if that happens. So, like, we're going to lose a lot of drama if it's like, all right, Wanda shows up, changes everybody's mind, we move on.
Thank you.
What I see is, I think, how Peter is going to tie into Doctor Strange too. I mean, of course, we got to wait for the new Spider-Man movie, but I think Doc is going to take on that role that Tony had. Because of the fact that they were on the ship together. You know, Peter saved his life and everything, so he's going to take on that, you know, that father figure role, and that's how that's going to like bring him into the, you know, the story.
So I think this is crazy. So WandaVision happened 3 weeks after Endgame, and then Far From Home happened 8 months.
Yep.
So the deal is, if the Multiverse of Madness is in between those two, then that can definitely show how time is irrelevant because of the multiple dimensions and whatnot.
Right.
So because remember they asked, they're like, "What is Doctor Strange doing?" And he's like, "Oh, he's taking care of something," which I'm grateful that they said that in Far From Home. My challenge with WandaVision, to piggyback off David with a couple of things, is that you're telling me this is happening and not one damn superhero
Yeah.
like was mentioned. I
Right.
don't need to see anybody. You could just be like, well, Thor's dealing with this or whatever. You can at least mention something, but not one damn person. And you don't even give the one person this is supposed to tie into. You don't give him an after credit scene going, I need to do something about this.
Yep.
Right.
Like, not one.
I have something about
You
that.
tied the scroll either to Captain Marvel 2 or Secret Invasion better than
Right.
you did Wanda in the Multiverse of Madness.
Well, they did mention Captain Marvel, though. Remember?
That's what I'm. Well, they were pointing.
Yeah, that was
up,
the only one.
Yeah, but then not only that, you're pointing up about Nick Fury wanting to meet you at the space station, which we know that's in Far From Home. But again, you're tying more of Monica's story, and then the other challenge I had with WandaVision is that Monica had more of a buildup with Hayward than Wanda did with Agatha, and then that did not pay off whatsoever.
That's where they kind of, sorry to interrupt, but that's where they got away with just saying it was Agatha all along. Like that was their whole thing. Like they knew exactly the build that they were doing, and they were like, you know what, fuck it, it was Agatha all along. Whatever, everything happened, there was like, it's been Agatha all along, and that was their little like plug. Like that was their pull out situation.
I agree with you. I feel like that's, oh shit, we rode ourselves into a corner.
Right, and look how everything changed after that though. Like that, like they knew that's where it came from, like the build, and then they're like, shit, we kind of built ourselves to a fucking, built walls all around, and you know what, fuck it, Agatha, yeah, open the door, it's been Agatha. And then everything got different. After that.
For me, leaves a lot of holes. That leaves a lot of holes because you got Senior Scratchy. You build him up for nothing. You have the Witsec guy that's still missing. Darcy kind of fell off. So we kind of have a lot of holes. As great as the series is, we got a lot of holes.
Thank you.
So I got a question. I feel like did any of you guys think that we were definitely or most likely probably going to see Mephisto, Al Pacino as Mephisto? Who thought?
Yeah, I did. The reason being is because I did a lot of research on that one, man. Oh my god, dude.
I did too. I did too.
I was digging, and then they ended up being only 3 actors that Paul Bettany said that he ever wanted to work with. And it was Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and then one other person that I forgot. And I was just like, dude, the only person Kevin Feige talked to was Al Pacino.
It's got to be Al Pacino. He played Satan in that movie with Keanu Reeves.
Yep.
Yeah,
Devil's Advocate. Advocate. That was a great movie.
Yeah.
So
I'm a big Al Pacino fan, so I was really hoping that was going to be him.
Yeah. Right. And my challenge with that is that I thought he would show up, and when he didn't, I was okay with that because the twins, and I was like, okay, if the twins get erased with the Hex, then I'm fine with Mephisto not showing up. And they did. So I was like, okay, because if they would have stayed, I would have been really pissed off. I would have been really pissed off. Right. But there's key things that are kind of hinting that Mephisto will show up. And that's because Agatha, when Wanda absorbs her energy, she goes, you have no idea what you just released.
Yeah.
And that's one. Yeah. And then 2, like you guys said, which I'm grateful this is all tying it together, is that the kids saying, Mom, come help us. I mentioned this in my recent review. That could be Mephisto playing games with Wanda to release him. And so all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to save my kids, because even though I feel, which is great, even though I feel she did what was for the greater good, because deep down in her core, she's trying to be good in WandaVision, but she's reading the Darkhold, and we all know what happens when the dark side possesses you. You fucking get rid of all rational thought goes out the window.
All of it. Right.
All of it. So now Mom Come Save Us is kind of like, wait, I can use this power to make them come back. And then all of a sudden Mephisto pops up because those are the pieces of his soul, kind of like West Coast Avengers. I would be absolutely okay with that. I would.
So So, Danny, what you're saying is there's definitely still is a possibility we might see Al Pacino as Mephisto.
I think so.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah. Let's stay on that. So everybody was talking about her opening up the door to mutants. Maybe it's the other way around. She's opening the door to Blade, Mephisto, Moon Knight. She's opening up the Dark Knights and everything else coming through.
Grogu.
You know, they already said that they're tying Jared Leto's
Morbius, yeah.
Morbius.
So yeah, it's opening the door for everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're getting the darker universe instead of the mutants from her.
Yeah, the Dark Avengers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
I think.
what do you all think of the whole, with Agatha, of course, behind it all? What did you all think of the whole Dr. Claw bit early in the series where all you saw was the hand and the computer screen, Inspector Gadget, you know what I mean? That's how I looked at it. But I'm like, they threw it away though. Like, what happened to the monitor when she revealed that it was
That was
all
Darcy.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, that was Darcy taking notes. You didn't see that when they were bridging the two worlds together in episode 3?
I missed it. I gotta go back and watch it because I thought it was her.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, it's because Darcy was watching the show.
No, but that was before Darcy even got there, though. That they showed that. Remember when they first showed?
Correct. But remember, in episode 3 is when they tied it together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They went back, and that's where I really thought they were the smart show at that point, where they gave you episode 1, episode 2, and then episode 3 was just here we go, have fun. That's the first slice of Marvel pie that was a new flavor, because we're all used to everything in the MCU. So they're like, here, try our new deluxe, because they've done TV. They had Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but then they're like, look at what we're doing now. You might really want to watch this, because but the way that they did it, and then the other thing I wanted to mention was how in those other episodes, all the timelines, all the different times that they took place, those are just so wickedly smart and witty and different, because it was they gave you the trailer for WandaVision, but then you almost didn't know how they were going to bring it to you, and the way they brought it to us was smart. And that was the part that I find smart, and I know there are a lot of holes, but the way the presentation was smart and everything like that. It's just for us as fans and nerds and everything, we just know so much and we want so much and we want it now, but they're we can't, but they
give it to you now, right?
Yeah, exactly. But we want it now because we all know what happens. So we're we don't need to be babysat. We want to be
We want to ram it in
and respectfully,
consensual. It's definitely
consensual. Yeah,
No, I spit on your grave type stuff.
Yeah, because we've had permission. We sat there for the last decade, so you have our permission to.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Who else was disappointed? In my opinion, I was disappointed at the fact that at the end of every episode, you got 10 minutes worth of credits.
God, mother. I always thought there was the ultimate end credits. So they're gonna give us 10 more minutes, all this shit, and it's just nope. Here's Steve on lights, William on the keyboard.
Stay tuned.
Right.
Stay tuned,
Right. They didn't even give us WandaVision will return next week. That would have been smart if they gave us that little bit at the end.
So
stay tuned, and then you got credits.
Yeah.
Do you all think that Randall Park as Jimmy Woo is the new Coulson?
I love him.
He's awesome. I like him too. Yeah.
So he's going to be
cool.
that one character that's going to tie everybody together. You know what I mean? What Coulson was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because I stopped watching what the freak was this show called with Coulson? But anyway, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after the first 2 seasons, when I noticed that they weren't going to bring him back to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, what was the point of bringing in Samuel L. Jackson as Fury for that one episode and stuff if you weren't going to bring him back to the movies and let the rest of the Avengers know that he was
They
still,
back themselves into a corner.
you know what I
That's
mean?
what they-
So I think Jimmy Woo is going to fulfill that role. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So,
Jimmy was smart.
So my question, because I had it on the tip of my tongue now. Man, I'm like, shit, I forgot. Let me pick it back off the credits and maybe it'll come back to me. Yo, my dumb ass sat there through every credit. Like, where is my post credits?
Right?
Because everyone knows if you get up in the theater
That's
and
it.
they turn the credits, everyone's making fun of your ass. You're like, you ain't
Yeah.
seen
Look at this loser.
you start seeing the cast and crew in different languages. You like,
Yeah. That's what I knew. It's like, shit, we're not getting anything.
Dude, I had to pee and everything. I'm doing a little pee. I'm like, yo, where's the credit? Where's the credit? You know? And then nothing.
Nothing. Not a damn thing.
I was stupid. Every episode up until they actually did the mid-credit scene, I was going like 5 seconds, 5
Right.
seconds, 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Somewhere. And then I watch a video.
Massive.
Oh man, what the hell I miss?
Yeah, exactly. So
No, for real, my mom told me that my dad was doing with every episode. He was like, because I don't live with him anymore, but she told me that he was doing that with every episode. He was fast forwarding each time to make sure there was no end credit scene.
That's funny. So there's something that Cosmic Wonder and all of them released today. Apparently, mutants are in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I figured they would
Apparently.
be.
I think we're gonna see it in everything now.
oh, it's hold on. I'm about to pull it up.
Like how all of us saw Mephisto, we were like,
Yeah.
is he there? Is he there? And you get Mephisto.
That's
and
why
you
they
get
do
Mephisto, and
That's
you
what
get
Marvel
Mephisto.
does. But Marvel knows us though, because they've held us hooked for so long. They know how much we want it because they wrote the shit. So they're like, so they're gonna tease everything mentally because they know what we know based on what they're basing everything off of. So they're just like, well, we got mutants under contract technically. We might dangle it in front of you. We might, see like an ice cube fall on the ground. I was like, was that Iceman? I don't know. The way it dropped.
I feel like it's the same thing with Falcon and Winter Soldier. We're gonna see end credits and be like, I got you.
Right? Deadpool's gonna walk up like, just end.
Speaking of Deadpool,
Oh,
allegedly, supposedly, that he is getting finally what he asked for as the new cameo, like Stan Lee was.
he needs to.
Yeah, he needs to.
Again, that's hearsay. I don't know if it's true, but if it does, yay!
Right? It's like Christmas every day. Like,
For real. Speaking of boners, right?
Right? Yeah, boner. It would be great. I would love for that to happen because it makes sense. We know how important Deadpool is to everything, and yeah, it would just make sense to have him be that cameo since we, no longer have our guy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I want him to dress up as Stan Lee and do it.
Oh, if I get
the
one,
first time. Yeah.
If it's just
Straight.
even one time, dude.
One
If
time,
it happens just at least once, I
guarantee. If they're smart and they're gonna do it. They should do it. Just for us.
All right, so let's hop on to who thinks Wanda's gonna be the actual main villain. Like I think Wanda is gonna be the main villain in Multiverse of Madness, and Mordo has to team up with Doctor Strange to fight her. Because they hinted that she's more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme when they were reading Darkhold. So it's kind of like a Goku and Piccolo having to fight Raditz when they were enemies. And it's just like, well, I can't do this without you.
I actually don't see that happening, but I just so want him and
I could see that. Like,
go at
Marvel acquires some Jamal.
Derek is sounding like Megatron. This whole chat is going. But yeah, so what do you guys think? You think that's gonna happen or no?
Right. I mean, they still good. They can still clash. Sorry.
Yeah, you lagged bad, brother.
Man,
He's
it
stuck
sounds
in
like
WandaVision. He's getting sucked in.
WandaVision getting sucked in.
he's in the 90s, man. He's making me sound like the AOL thing, like the dial-up.
What power you come back with?
And he's still talking.
For real.
I think
Oh my god!
Sounds like
Stranger Mortal gonna clash.
Okay, we missed all that, dude.
Right?
We missed everything you said, man, because it was like,
Damn.
It sounded like I was ordering something from
Hold on.
McDonald's.
No, honestly, I can see that happening. But I just so want Mordo and Doc to go at it, man. Because I'm a fan of villains more than heroes. Because I feel like anybody could be a hero, you know what I mean, and likable. But it takes so much talent to be a likable villain. Look at Loki. Look at Bucky and Winter Soldier. You know what I mean? Look at Josh Brolin as Thanos, even though he just did the mocap and voice. But I mean, it just takes more talent to push the hero forward in the movie. Like I feel like, you know, Marvel has gotten better with the villains, because before you like outside of Loki, you like, okay, the rest of the villains kind of suck ass. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, you have the Loki, you got the Thanos, you got the Killmonger and everything like that. So that's why I want Ejiofor to shine as Mortal as a villain more than, you know, but I can't see them teaming up though to go against Wanda, you know. So he's back.
Anyone else? David, Ian, anybody?
I think the opposite. I actually think Doctor Strange is going to tackle a new villain. I think they're going in the direction of somebody that can take over Wanda. I think Wanda's the key to the whole Phase 4 going into Phase 5. She's the key tie-in to all of it. That's my whole gist of it. I think they're going to bring in somebody that can take over Wanda, and Doctor Strange has to help. Mordo has to help. I think she's like the key to the whole thing, because it would make sense on like why you would release WandaVision out first. It's the same thing like you release Iron Man out first. He's the key to the whole thing. I think she's the key to the whole Phase 4, Phase 5.
I think that goes back to what Danny was saying. So this is where Mephisto comes in and plays on her.
Yeah.
The master.
What do y'all think?
see...
What do y'all think about that when she was separated? Like when she was at the cabin.
Oh, dude, that was so fucking awesome.
That blew my
I was
mind.
like, oh, holy shit! Like you see that she's embracing her powers. Like, holy
yeah.
It was the opposite of the Hulk, though, where he was trying to find peace.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm going back to work. I'm going to learn this book backwards and forwards, and I'm going to cause some damage.
Yeah.
Speaking of my dad's about Mephisto, do you guys think we're gonna maybe see an introduction of Mephisto in the end of Doctor Strange 2? You think that'll tie into there, or?
Nah, I think he would. If they're smart, I think they will have like Ian was saying. I think that's a really smart move to have like Al Pacino kind of being like her guide, you know, and really he's just playing on her and bugging, twisting her, and causing the multiverse of madness. Like her power is just what's creating all this. This is why Spider-Man, the universes are colliding. That's how easily you bring in X-Men and everybody else. You know, I can see that happening, man. I think that's a smart way of doing it.
I don't think we're getting Spider-Verse till Part 4.
Really?
Yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to get the main villain for the most of the movie, and then at the end, maybe that's where Wanda comes in and screws things up, and that sets us up for Part 4.
I don't know, man, because they already said that since Jamie Foxx and all the other like villains are in the new Far From Home, and then on top of that, even though they say no, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield not in it, both of them were seen in Georgia. I don't know, man. You know, like that would I can see yes, but to have all of them in the third movie just to tease us and to have part
That's your
4.
cliffhanger, man. That's your cliffhanger.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I want that. Especially
I
because
mean-
when it says No Way Home, it would make sense that you're in a multi-dimensional place, especially that you did the Nexus commercial. You know what I mean? It would make sense that you're in a multi-dimensional place and you can't get home because you're in this multiple dimension, like this crossover of dimensions.
Yeah, that he's stuck there. Or what
Yeah,
was the thing
something's
that
wrong.
Doc Strange and did, that glass world where he contained everything,
Mhm,
and that
mhm.
Yeah.
I could see that happening. You know,
I honestly think we're gonna see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield maybe at the end of Spider-Man 3, like that. Like my dad said, maybe, and then that'll Spider-Man 4. I honestly don't think we're gonna see a big appearance of those two until the end of Spider-Man 3.
Could be.
That's what I think. I'm getting my hopes up. I really hope we're gonna see him way earlier than that. But I feel like that's probably one of the bigger cliffhangers in Marvel Universe to see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield come at the end of Spider-Man 3, and then we see him more in Spider-Man 4.
Yeah.
so who do you think is going to be the main villain of No Way
I
Home?
think it's gonna be you don't if it's Spider-Man. If it's Spider-Man, I think it's gonna go to Scorpion.
Scorpion or Craven?
I think
Yeah.
it's gonna go to
Craven
Scorpion.
has
I
always
think
been my favorite
Oscorp is gonna turn Norman Osborn is buying the old Avengers building, and J. Jonah Jameson is behind Scorpion, pays Scorpion to get Spider-Man through the comics, and that's what I think it is.
Good call on that one.
And there's a theory because of the way the No Way Home was shaped. It was shaped like Puerto Rico. So if it shows Miles coming in this
Oh,
movie,
yeah. So,
it'd be absolutely fantastic, especially if they're going through that Scorpion that you're talking about. Remember, he's also Spanish, and
Yes.
that's that would be incredible, dude. I think that would be a good tie-in.
Oh yeah,
But
because he was in
certain
Homecoming.
iterations,
Well, no, he was in Homecoming.
He was
yes,
in
he was in
Homecoming.
Homecoming.
Yeah, he
Correct.
was in Homecoming.
At the end scene.
Yeah,
But-
so was Miles' uncle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Donald Glover played what's his name? I lost it. Something to my tongue. His uncle is a villain.
Yep.
Prowler.
Prowler, thank you.
Yeah.
So my take on the whole thing with Wanda, to jump back, like, because we kind of like deviated, to jump back on the whole Wanda thing at the end with the astral projection, I think that was confirmation that she's just as strong as Doctor Strange. And because remember, Doctor Strange did that in his movie when he was asleep and he was studying the books and his astral projection. Now we see Wanda with the teacup, and then she's doing the same thing, but the dark magic and astral projection. So I think that's our only really tie-in to Doctor Strange, besides just mentioning him, like, oh, you're supposed to be stronger than the Sorcerer Supreme. It's pretty much.
And the fact that she learned it on her own like that, rather than Doc having to study the books to learn the magic, you know.
I like that they left Agatha though, because
Oh yeah.
she was like, "You need me," and then she's like, "If I do, I'll come get you." And I think that is a huge door of like she has to team up with Agatha later in the future. Like, listen,
Amazing
I need you
character.
now.
Amazing
Yeah, if you know the
character.
history of her, yeah, you know they team up.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
And Agatha was the one.
Agatha ties into Fantastic Four.
Yes.
So that's why I think Wanda's that big key thing.
yeah.
Yeah. Not only that,
Yeah,
remember,
phase.
Agatha was the one with the twins. She actually put Mephisto back away. Remember? Because they're like, wait, you were the one that did it? And she's just like, yeah. And they're like, you're strong enough? She's like, no, he made a mistake. Remember? Because he made, what was it? He humanized his soul by doing the twins. So that was the only way Agatha could trap him to make him go back. So that could be a huge play because she said it. She's just like, I'm not strong enough. He just made a mistake. And I can see that, especially if it's an Al Pacino type character. If it is Al Pacino, you can see him getting cocky and doing all this shit, and then all of a sudden he makes that one fucking mistake, and Agatha's like, "Gotcha, bitch," So because I can see it, I can see Mephisto being too much for Doctor Strange and everybody else and stuff like that, and they're like, "How the hell we're gonna do this?" And here comes Agatha to save the day, So I don't know.
Well, Marvel does like to turn villains into heroes.
Yeah.
Well, I was reading up an article from comic.com as with Captain Han, continuing to play Agatha, and she said in an interview, she said, she has no intention of only doing, being an appearance in WandaVision. She would like to do more with Marvel. So I think with her having the interview, I think we're definitely going to see her again, and her with WandaVision isn't the last time.
No.
And we're bringing in the Fantastic Four, man. That's going to be awesome. And now we're bringing in the mutants and stuff. Would you all rather have like a totally new cast or bring in the Evan Peters crew? McAvoy, Fassbender.
Evan Peters' crew, absolutely.
Me personally, I like that. Me personally, I love that crew.
So do I. It's probably my favorite one. McAvoy playing the younger Professor X, I thought was amazing. I thought he did a really good job.
I think Hugh Jackman was the linchpin. If they could have got Hugh Jackman back on, then I think they would have explored bringing back a lot more of those people.
Dude, I was hoping that seriously. Let's talk about theories real quick because we're running out of time for not only WandaVision but also for Falcon. But dude, I really thought that because they're like, yeah, big character coming back in, I really thought, I'm like, this is how Old Man Logan comes into this universe. I really thought, I was like, because the Evan Peters thing, I really thought that Agatha might have like access to a Nexus portal, or something, and that's how she got Evan Peters there. Obviously, that didn't pan out, but if that was true, and they had Wolverine just one last time appearance as Old Man Logan, dude, I would have lost my fucking shit, dude.
Yeah.
Get him a body double will be good.
So theories, what were your favorite theories on WandaVision?
Mine was probably, I have to say, my theory that I hope was. Now, are we talking about theories that we hope were true or theories that actually happened?
No, that you were hoping that was true that didn't pan out.
Okay, so in my opinion, I was kind of leaning towards more Reed Richards as bringing in that engineer. That was my hopeful theory and I was kind of hoping it would be the same guy that played Mr. Fantastic in the original Fantastic Four, the 2007 film, because he was my favorite. I feel like if they brought him in, I thought it was going to be amazing. I thought that was the theory I hope would happen.
I was actually hoping that it was going to be Doom.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
yes.
I was hoping that the engineer was going to be Doom person.
Yeah.
Which one?
Huh?
Which one?
Shit.
We don't talk about the remake, man. That didn't exist.
You know what?
Okay, good. All right.
to be honest, that was terrible writing. But the actor, I'm a fan of the actor.
The actor was good. Yeah, the actor was good.
From Rock and Roller, he was good with what he had to work with. But again, I did like Julie, because I'm a fan.
Yeah, he was my favorite.
So either one would have worked for me. But that was my theory that I was hoping would have panned out. That it would have been Doom. Because then it would have tied in with Doc Strange, with him using magic, dark art, magic, and everything. So, yeah. Anybody else?
I tell you, by episode 8, man, I didn't care anymore. I was good. I was off the theory wagon. I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna finish this series. I'm not gonna worry about it anymore.
But you had to have one, David. Come on.
I was leaning pretty heavy towards Reed Richards, but I told you, Danny, in that side conversation, like, what if Ghost Rider just popped in, and that would have been
huge.
Now, which one, Nick Cage or the one from Agents of
Nick Cage. Yeah,
Nick Cage. Come on now.
Here's how I laid it out for Danny. It's like we would have got the Ghost Rider from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Wanda would have just fucked him up, and then not knowingly, brings Nick Cage into the scene, and he takes care of it. Or we get our end credits with Nick Cage and Doctor Strange.
Yeah, man.
That would have been huge because Nicolas Cage playing Ghost Rider was freaking awesome. I really hope they, and maybe later on, do a standalone R-rated Ghost Rider film with Nick Cage in it.
Hell, bring Sam Elliott back as
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Ian, shoot your favorite one.
What was the question again?
Your favorite fan theory that didn't pan out.
Oh man, fan theory that didn't pan out.
Your favorite.
I was jumping on the Mephisto thing. I was jumping on the Mephisto train just because I was jumping on every character that could have linked on to the MCU continuing on Mephisto or the X-Men, or, just going off different signs. You would see like little hints of Mephisto coming in, with the little symbols and things like that. So I was on that Mephisto train for a little bit. But then, like I said, once we saw episode 8, it was just like, yeah, fucking forget it, whatever. Yeah.
Mine definitely was like I said, I was hoping Mephisto had the Wolverine thing, but the one thing that you told me I wished panned out, Ian, is when, I believe it was you, when you said that Ultron was going to come back to be the big bad in the last episode.
Oh yeah.
I was like, yo, because the way Spectral Vision looks at his left hand, and then
Yes.
Ultron lost his left arm in
Left arm. Yes.
yeah, in the Age of Ultron. I thought, oh shoot, like you said, it's 2013. He's gonna end up in the Hex. It's gonna change him into Ultron.
Oh, yep.
And this is your big bad. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I felt like the holes that David was mentioning was, I felt like you introduced characters that you never used. You introduced builds up that you never used. The Monica and Hayward thing, Darcy hit him. So there was no payoff in that. You bring in Spectral Vision for 5 seconds. He has an amazing, scene with regular Vision, but then leaves. It doesn't pan out. Agatha reveals herself. They have a quick battle, and she's defeated. Like, all this I felt was rushed towards the end. And all those holes, like I said, if you introduce characters, you should really use them. You shouldn't just, like give you a small taste and then here we go. But I feel like if that Ultron thing panned out, it would have tied in a lot of things, because here's your big bad.
Oh yeah.
Here's your big bad. And now you have Vision, Wanda, and now it interrupts Agatha's plan. So she has to deal with that. You know what I mean? And then you have to deal with, let's say Wanda's about to attack Ultron and Agatha hits her. You know what I mean? Like, it had this intense potential. And especially if you threw Monica in the mix with her powers, you know what I mean? Just trying to stop it. Dude, it could have been an epic battle to me at the end.
Yeah.
Easy sell too, because if you guys think of Civil War, when Vision misfired and took down Rhodey, there's your Ultron piece. A little sliver of Ultron still alive in Vision. And if they would have brought him in and had Ultron kill Vision in there, and then that set off Wanda, big things, man. Yeah. We got to do a what if episode.
A question though, bringing in Ultron like that, remember he kind of had a soft spot for Wanda throughout Age of Ultron. He really had a soft spot for Wanda. Like, he really, like, genuinely, the way that they wrote him and his dialogue, regardless of what he was doing, he genuinely cared for Wanda. No matter what he was doing, he genuinely cared for her. Even more so than he didn't give 2 shits about Pietro. He never said shit about Pietro. But when it came to Wanda, they had that connection. You know what I mean? So bringing him in as the big bad, that would have been awesome. That would have been awesome. I agree with you all. That would have been awesome. Yeah. Because there would have been that tug of war, like, shit, here I am again. I care for her, but I got my own agenda too. You know what I mean? So yeah, that would have been awesome. if it was Ultron.
Well, like Denny, like I don't know if you guys seen that my post I had on Otaku, where it showed the two top images of Vision on the top visiting Ultron in the movie, and then showed in the bottom. The bottom picture was the white Vision looking at his admiring his left hand. Now in that Avengers movie, when Vision went to go see Ultron, his left arm or hand was completely gone. And then when that guy in WandaVision created that white Vision, and he looked down and like the video of the episode was ending, he was admiring his left hand. So I feel like that was definitely a key. It was like a key clue as to like maybe they are going to bring back Ultron.
Yeah, if you look at the slate of the next set of movies, bringing in Ultron, you can't leave him in just the final episode. You would at least need 2 or 3 episodes with him fighting him. There's no room for him right now.
I did not like the whole 9-episode setup. Like it could have gone at least like between 9 and like 10 to 12 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure.
9 episodes. I'm like, why 9 episodes? Like, what's the deal?
I don't know if it was.
I feel like it was too short.
Well, according to the director, and here's for me, this is why I'm hit and miss with it, is that the director said that they had much more in plan, like in store, but then the whole pandemic happened. So I get it.
Okay.
But at the same time, though, there was never mention of anything else. But then yet you hear all these fan theories and everything else, and now it's like, oh well, I hope people aren't disappointed. But now you're coming out with, oh well, Mr. Scratchy's supposed to be a demon, and all this stuff is supposed to happen. It's like, okay, are you genuinely saying that? And if it is, cool, man, I'm all about it. Or are you just backpedaling because people didn't like your ending?
Yeah, they're trying to do like they did with the Mandarin. The backpedaling to try to save the Mandarin and.
Did you see that short film, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I loved it. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, that short film was badass. All right.
Yeah.
So we are running. We got 15 minutes left. So,
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier, man. How do you think this is gonna connect any way to WandaVision? Do you think this is gonna be at the same time as WandaVision? Because now we get to see. Oh wait, this is why they weren't in WandaVision. What do you guys think?
I think it's going to take place at the same time,
Yeah,
or at least
definitely.
like relatively around the same time. Because if you look at the trailers, you see Bucky still has his long hair starting off. You know what I mean? And so that's the way Endgame ended. And like you said, WandaVision took place how
3
long
weeks.
after? 3 weeks?
Mhm.
Yeah, so with them training and you see Falcon training with the shield, yeah, I think it's around roughly the same time.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we're getting another, just like we got with Spider-Man Far From Home, we're getting another glimpse of characters mourning. So they're going to be mourning Cap being gone, and I think we've seen that in a couple of trailers.
I think it's gonna be the same around the same time as well. I don't see them really going with a different time period. I feel like that would just add more confusion. I feel like they're gonna probably just do the same time period as WandaVision.
You think it's going to take place in Jersey too?
I think
at
they're
least
overseas.
part of it.
Yeah, I think they're going to be overseas.
Well, I mean, but part of it, do you think is going to take place in Jersey because of the old
The compound?
the compound.
I don't know, man. That's a good question. That's a really good question. Like I said, I didn't dive into any other YouTubers' videos to get too much details on it because I want to be surprised a little bit, But that is a really good insight. That could possibly happen. Like first it's in Jersey, but then they have to go overseas, or they have to go overseas and then they're coming to Jersey and then they're hearing about all this stuff. It's a good question. What do you think, Ian?
It's probably gonna happen at the same time, I think. Yeah, I think it's gonna happen at the same time, and I think this is where we're gonna get the aha, like the other characters popping in, like you never know. It might be Vision popping in, to say, "Hey guys, I need your help," something like that. So I think it's gonna happen at the same time, and we're gonna get that aha at the end.
Gotcha. Another question for you boys to see what you guys think. So we saw in the trailer that not only does Falcon have the shield, obviously because Cap gave it to him, but we see Bucky throwing the shield. So do you think we're gonna get both Captain Falcon, no pun intended with Super Smash Brothers, Falcon Punch, but are we gonna get, Captain America Falcon and Captain America Winter Soldier, or what do you think? Or is it just gonna stick to Falcon?
Oh,
I
the
think it's
government's
just gonna
burning
stick
these
to Falcon.
guys.
I think it's going to stick to Falcon. I think Bucky is going to be his own thing, and I like that. Even though Bucky has always been one of my favorite characters. Period. Not just in the movies, but in the comics. Period. And the fact that they had the missed opportunity of him and Black Widow hooking up when he was, Captain America, when he had the shield. I think it's just going to be strictly Falcon because of the fact that that's relatively new and a lot of people know that more so than Bucky having the shield in the comics.
I think Ross is screwing them both. I think he is. He's screwing them both. Neither one's getting the shield. And that's going to cause
it's going to be more. I think it's going to be more just the Falcon, just because I think because in all the the Avenger movies and then you got the Captain movies, that's why they delve so. I can't even think of the word right now. Dove into more of Bucky's character and his background and everything. I think they were literally setting up for Falcon the Winter Soldier and dive more into his storyline.
Do you think when we see in the trailer Bucky throwing the shield, do you think that's just him training Falcon to be Cap?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe that scene's right after the funeral.
Yeah. That's why I said, do you think it's going to start off in Jersey at the compound and everything? So,
question of the day now. This is a good one. So, it doesn't necessarily have to be in this show. But do you think with the Multiverse of Madness happening, do you think we get both Cap and RDJ back?
Possibly.
Maybe.
Possibly.
And the only reason why I say that is because both Chris Evans and both RDJ were like, we're done. Now that nobody's making money, they're like, wait a minute. Now we hear change in tune. Well, never say never kind of deal. So what do you guys think?
RDJ's got the beard back. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I gotta say the same thing. I definitely think that's probably not the end, just because I remember seeing an interview with RDJ saying never say never. So I feel like that's kind of like a clue at him hinting towards possibly coming back into the Marvel Universe. I'm not 100% sure, but maybe.
But then, they're also bringing in, so like I said, I haven't read some of the new characters with Marvel, but they're bringing in the new Iron Man, the black girl. I can't think of her name.
Yeah.
Riri Williams.
And so Tony trained her.
Yes.
So there is a possibility that RDJ might come back for that,
So they're hinting a lot with the Young Avengers, and I got a lot of flack on my YouTube channel for this, which is funny. This video is going to be on the channel. So I got a lot of flack because I said that I didn't want the Young Avengers to happen so soon. And they're like, well, how can you, and da-da-da. And I'm like, dude, I feel like you're really trying to Mickey Mouse it now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just how I feel, especially that you have all this drama that's happening at Disney right now. I just don't want them to be like, all right, here are the Young Avengers, and it's just like, oh boy, this is a kid's show. I just, and then especially that you hear, if it's true that the article I posted in the group, if it's true that they are really limiting Ryan Reynolds on Deadpool 3 after everything was a go, he had full creative control, it was supposed to be rated R, and now they're trying to censor him.
Yeah.
Like, that has me scared. I don't want it to be like, don't get me wrong, it's not like that we're not going to watch it, but I rather have it as just towards fans the way we already had the MCU, rather than let's just target the kids and just kiddify it, because you know what happens when you kiddify things, it gets really corny.
Yep.
And it's just like, all right, I'll take my son to see it, but you lose a lot out of it. That's just how I feel. I could be wrong. So what do you guys think?
Sounds like you haven't watched Once Upon a Deadpool yet.
Have not.
Ah.
I haven't watched that version yet.
You either? Oh
Uh-uh.
man, let me tell you. So I'm good with
Fred
my
Savage
R-rated
is in it,
version.
right?
Yeah, Fred Savage is in it. I'm good with my R-rated Deadpool, and I'm good with the PG-13 version of it because I own both copies, seen both in the theaters. They were both done well. But just to let you know what I'm thinking they're going to do with the Young Avengers, with the oh boy, I think we're getting a Disney Plus show of them. I don't think we're going to see them on the big screen.
Ooh,
That'd be smart.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Yep.
that
Good
would
one.
be smart.
That would be
Yeah.
smart. It would be good for both fans and kids to keep it that way. To me, I could totally be wrong. Don't fucking listen to me. I don't know anything I'm talking about, but
Most of the
Right.
characters are being introduced there, so keep them there.
cool.
Going back to
Yeah.
the PG-13 Once Upon a Deadpool, I feel like they definitely had some jokes in there that were meant for for an R-rated film, but they kept it at a PG-13 level, and they still made it enjoyable to watch, even though it's PG-13.
Mhm.
Yo,
Look
Ryan
what they
Reynolds
just did
pulled it
with
off.
Coming to America too.
He did.
Oh no, you gotta watch it, man. Ryan Reynolds pulled it off. Like he
Gotcha.
dropped the F-bomb, but they beeped it, and then
That's awesome.
there's a scene with
Yeah,
him and
they-
Fred Savage going back and forth, and every time Fred Savage went to say something, he beeped it, but it was him trying to say something appropriate where he beeped it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. All right,
Hey,
cool.
quick question though. I
What's
know we're limited on time,
Yep.
but it just popped in my head. So with Spectral Vision flying off,
Mhm.
he is going to become Vision,
Yeah, he's Vision, man.
and he has the Mind Stone. Do you all remember in Endgame? I mean not Endgame, Infinity War, being in Wakanda? Do you think he's flying back to Wakanda for what's her name to study
like
the
it.
stone?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That
Well,
would be great.
Yeah. I don't think. Well, he doesn't have the Mind Stone anymore. Obviously, he still has.
Well,
like,
he got the
divot. Yeah.
the divot, but she could still study it
That,
because of the fact,
I
because
guess.
that was his last memory before being flying off to try to save the day, and then
Yeah.
Thanos taking the stone.
I think in I think in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm gonna just make this theory right now. I could be totally wrong. I think we're gonna see if it is at the same time as WandaVision. It'll probably be a little bit like the little in between before WandaVision happened to show what happened to Vision and how he got to Jersey.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because Bucky's arm is from Wakanda.
Yep.
Now, if he needed enhancements or anything else, he goes back to Wakanda. Hey, what happened to Vision? Oh, this one, you know what I mean? Or some BS happened. Or there's a big fight. If there's a big fight that they lose Vision, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
The
If they have
heist.
yeah. If they have a big fight and they lose, you know what I mean? That's huge. That's huge. Let Wanda find that shit out. What? That is, especially that she's going to the dark side, man. I could see that could be a big fucking escalation, man.
It shows about the heist of Vision.
I just want Bucky. If Bucky
Time
is
heist.
not going to be Cap, I want him to take on that White Wolf persona.
Yeah.
Not necessarily have the crazy, white suit, but still take on that persona though.
Yeah, that'd be
You know what
good.
I mean? Because he has the skill set, So
Cool. Anything else, guys, before we wrap up?
I know it's
Great
not
show, man.
WandaVision related, man, but Godzilla versus Kong is coming up. Is that the next one for this?
Possibly, dude. So, man,
Justice League?
dude,
Justice League. Yes, thank you, Marcus.
so with the little bit of time that we have, just to touch base on them, yes, I would love to have a discussion on the movies.
Yes.
But dude, Kong, I already heard a leak on Kong and Godzilla. Sounds fucking phenomenal of how they're doing it. I don't want to spoil too much here for you guys, but yeah, I think it's gonna be really dope. They said there's gonna be a definitive winner, and if the leak is true of what they say, it's subtle, but Does that make sense? It's very subtle, but
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, yes, I think it's gonna be great. And then from what we've heard about the leak on Tom and Jerry with the Snyder Cut, everyone's saying it's fucking amazing, dude.
Yeah, they said the first hour was fucking awesome.
Dude, and here's the deal. I said it in one of my videos. editing, especially as you know, I'm going to throw this card, and I hate to do it, but as a filmmaker, I know how editing changes stories.
Yep.
Easy. So if you take Zack Snyder's beautifully wrapped up movie and you chopped and screwed it and it doesn't make sense, that is like, all right, cool. Now I know why it was a flop the first time. Because, you know, that's why Andrew Garfield got fired. He called out Sony. You know what I mean? He called out Sony. They were like, well, why does Spider-Man 2 don't make sense? And he's just like, well, when you have producers taking out everything that's important, of course it's not going to make sense.
Exactly.
And so yeah, so I'm excited for that, man. Like, I just hope, you know, obviously in my review I was being salty and over dramatic because that's just, you know, my character. But you know, I really hope they do justice to Black Suit Superman. That's one of my favorites.
Minus the mullet.
Yeah, dude, I have the Death to Superman. I have 2 copies of the Death to Superman. You know what I mean?
Me
My
too.
cousin had the black bag for it. You know, I had the graphic novel for it. Death of Superman is one of my favorite Superman stories of all time. You know, even though it destroyed the comic book industry, but it's still, it was still one of my favorite, you know, comic book stories of all time. And I hope they do it justice. Like he's saying, it will pay off in the movie, and I'm hoping so, because Zack Snyder to me is very hit and miss. He has fantastic movies, absolutely amazing
And
movies,
then very terrible ones too.
and very terrible ones. Correct, to me.
Yes.
Anyway, that's just how.
Yeah,
I
no,
feel.
I'm the same way. In my opinion, I'm the same way. I know we're running out of time, but I feel like this Jared Leto's Joker is going to be way different than what he was in the Suicide Squad. He's going to be more improved. He's just going to be an overall better actor as the Joker.
Yeah.
I actually see him being like the Joker from the video games.
Yeah,
That version of Leto, it seems like he's taking on the persona of Injustice game.
truly insane. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys coming on, man. This was a hell of a
Appreciate you,
thing.
man.
Dude, I think this went well. I think this is dope, you know, and
I love it, man.
I would love to
Me
have
too.
you.
It's awesome.
As
Any
long
thoughts,
as you
Dave?
have me, I'll join, man.
I'm all in.
David, any thoughts?
Oh, this was great. Yeah, let's keep it up.
Cool. Awesome. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap up right now. Let me go ahead and pin this video. There we go. So, everybody on the channel, thanks for watching us just talk our rants and our BS. And we can't wait for Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think is going to be great. And all these other movies as well. So, you know what? Be safe. Love you. Talk to you soon.
Peace.
Later,
All right,
guys.
see you guys.